Do you dream of epic battles, of clashing steel and roaring crowds? Do you crave tales of valor and victory? Then come with me, friend, on a journey through time. Let us relive a saga that echoes through the ages, the story of Bjorn Ironside, a legend forged in fire and blood. They called him Ironside, not because he wore armor, but because death refused to touch him. Now gather close and listen well, for I shall tell you a tale that will make your blood run cold. In the land of eternal winter, where ice giants once roamed free, there lived a man of unmatched bravery, Ragnar Lothbrok, the greatest Viking warrior of his age. His deeds were sung by bards, but his lineage was shrouded in mystery. For his mother, Queen Aslog, was no ordinary woman. They said she descended from gods, a seeress with eyes that saw the threads of fate. And it was under her watchful gaze that Bjorn was born, a son of Ragnar, a lord of iron. From the moment he could walk, the boy's heart beat with the rhythm of the sea. His soul craved the feel of a sword in his hand, the taste of salt spray on his lips, and his ears were attuned to the whispers of the wind, which carried tales of daring exploits and whispered of distant shores waiting to be explored. Ragnar, the boy's father, was a man of immense power and pride, yet he remained deeply concerned about the safety of his young son. But Bjorn was not one to be kept away from the battlefield. Oh, no. His thirst for adventure burned too brightly within him. So Ragnar, recognizing the wild spirit that burned in his son's eyes, knew it was pointless to try and hold him back. Instead, he chose to prepare Bjorn for the challenges that lay ahead. Aslog, Bjorn's mother, wasn't merely a theorist. She was also a fierce protector of her son, and so she taught him the ways of the shield wall, showing him how to stand strong and unwavering in the face of danger. Under her guidance, Bjorn learned to wield his shield not just as a defensive tool, but as an extension of his own strength. And as the years passed, Bjorn grew into a warrior unlike any other. By the time he was just 12, he was already a force to be reckoned with. Imagine a Viking funeral pyre, the young Bjorn standing before it, his face streaked with war paint, his eyes blazing with determination. That was the day he took his warrior name, Bjorn Ironside, and vowed to carve his legend into the annals of history. And then came the day when Ragnar decided to take his son along on a raid to the land of the Saxons. For Ragnar, it was a chance to pass on his knowledge and experience to the eager young warrior. Bjorn, at the tender age of 12, didn't just observe during this raid. No, he was a participant, a young warrior eager to prove himself. When a Saxon soldier charged at Bjorn, expecting an easy victory, he was met with the business end of Bjorn's sword. On that day, the name Bjorn Ironside echoed through the ranks of the Vikings, signifying a new generation of warriors. And as time marched on, Bjorn's reputation only grew. By the time he reached the age of 16, he had led his own raid. And by 20, his name was a beacon of both hope and terror across England. Then came the news that shattered the Viking world. Ragnar Lothbrok, their legendary leader, had been captured by King Roa of Northumbria and thrown into a pit of snakes. Many mourned the mighty warrior, believing the Viking age was ending. But Bjorn didn't cry. No, his eyes hardened with resolve. With his father's fate sealed, Bjorn took it upon himself to avenge his father's death, gathering his brothers, either the Boneless, Vitzer, Sigurd, and Up. He unleashed the great heathen army on England. For 3 long years, monasteries burned and cities fell. Finally, when they caught King Gilmet, they brought him to the place where Ragnar had died, the pit of snakes, and there they performed the blood eagle, a sacrifice of vengeance in Ragnar's name. You killed a father, now meet his sons. Thus did Bjorn exact his revenge, proving himself to be a worthy son of Ragnar. But his thirst for glory was not yet quenched. He turned his gaze south, to lands no Viking had dared to tread, to the Mediterranean, where the mighty lords of the Franks and the Longobards held sway. Bjorn and his fleet sailed forth, leaving behind the icy shores of Scandinavia for the sun-drenched shores of the Mediterranean. and their exploits echoed through the ages. He sacked monasteries, raided coastal towns, and even ventured into the very heart of Frankish territory. But perhaps his greatest feat was falling the defenses of the Italian city of Luna, when his men pretended to be dying and sent a letter begging the bishop to convert them to Christianity and allow them to be buried in churches. The gates of the city opened, and Bjorn and his men walked in. But instead of kneeling in prayer, Bjorn unsheathed his sword, and by nightfall, Luna was his. The legend of Bjorn Ironside continued to grow, becoming a tapestry woven with threads of bravery, cunning, and sheer audacity. And though his name may have faded from the pages of history, his deeds live on in the hearts and minds of those who love a good yarn.